Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Greetings, Trekkies, and welcome to another episode of Photo Chats with Nats. My name is Natalie, and I'm a professional photographer based here in Johannesburg, South Africa, where it's currently really, really hot, and we have very little electricity, so we're trying to battle along, but nonetheless, I am super happy that you are here with me to talk a little bit about auto. In today's show, we're going to have a look at auto and what exactly I mean with that. In my recent chats, I focus on making photography a bit easier for you. I share tips and tricks with you to help you along in setting up your camera, in getting different approaches, and looking at photography from a minimalist point of view, if you wish, to make it fun and easy. And today is no exception. I'm going to just have a look with you where auto is in our daily lives and how that compares to photography, and why I think it is totally awesome and why you should use it. And then we're going to have a look what I'm talking about in my next show. Auto is the topic of the day, and I have been looking around myself and have been looking back a little bit in history to, check it out and, where it came from and why, AI is now the big thing. So let's have a little bit of a look back as to, where it's come from. I think humans are possibly even obsessed. It's their endeavor to make everything automated. It started a very long time ago, probably already in the Stone Ages, but I don't have any records of that. What I do have a record of is that, it became serious when Henry Ford created the automated assembly line. And it's just gone on from there, and everything is becoming automated, and there are more and more things all around us. It starts with, when you make your coffee in the morning, which I do every day with a lot of love and dire need in order to wake up. When you travel to work, maybe not in this car, but, most cars or a lot of cars are automatic these days. I drive an automatic car now, and, it makes traveling and navigating through traffic a lot easier. When you travel on a plane, surely you have a captain and a crew. However, autopilot is the standard practice that is being applied to. So, it's not to be taken lighthearted when you transport so many people so high off the ground. So these people better know what they're doing and, how it's working. And these are only a couple of examples. It's in a lot of very serious areas, and a lot of serious tasks are being used, automated, and more automated systems come along. There are electronic payments, the Amazon Go, the supermarket where you check yourself out. No longer any cashiers are needed. It's all done by automation with computers. Also really important, for example, your passport control. These days we have biometric passports, and we go through and enter a country without being checked by a person. So all of these are, and more are really, serious tasks that are being automated. So, how does that compare to photography? We have automated processes in photography, and they, have also been around and invented, for a very long time. The first light meter, for example, that's been built into your camera that is nowadays, probably not even being thought of as an automated process anymore, was first built in for the first time in 1935. The cameras before then didn't have a light meter, so that was extremely progressive in those times. and thought of as an automated feature. Did you think of that when I was talking about auto? Probably not. Autofocus was invented built into cameras for the first time in 1977. So that's also a really long time ago. A lot of you that are watching have probably not even been around then. Those, are features that we take for granted. We don't think of auto, we don't shy away from these when we use them in photography. But other processes have since then come along, like your white balance, your auto white balance, which, is being used by more and more people and accepted that, that is definitely something that can be used very well and gives good results. Auto exposure is something that your camera does when you set it up with certain individual settings and use it very, regularly, and a lot of people use it with a lot of confidence. Auto ISO definitely is a feature that has been around for a long time, is being improved all the time, and more and more people practice using it as well. I do remember a time when I wasn't using it and was quite horrified when the first person, another photographer, told me, "Oh, but I use auto ISO all the time," and I nearly fainted. But that is a long time ago. Since then, technology has advanced, and auto ISO is definitely something that I use today, every day, all the time, really. And autofocus is the one big thing that camera manufacturers really, focus on. It, excuse the pun, it's been a field in camera manufacturing that is, what camera manufacturers, that's quite the word, camera manufacturers boast about and really drive home and shout from the rooftops when they have, improved and added on technology. So, definitely automated processes. And all of these are trusted processes. Most photographers today, when you speak to them, it's all features that are being used. The crown is obviously being topped at the moment. The big word is AI, and that is also being introduced in cameras. My X-T5, for example, now has AI-assisted auto-white balance, which, I need to explore a little bit more, but I have no doubt that if not now, it will be improved more and more and will become standard practice and be absolutely phenomenal and wonderful. So I'm here to tell you today that I think auto is absolutely awesome. And when I am talking about auto, I'm talking about the facts that I have listed. I am not necessarily talking about the green button on your camera. If you're a beginner, there is definitely a benefit in you using this program automated mode or an auto mode or a green mode, depending on what camera you use. But I am really speaking about and wanting to draw your attention to all the different processes and settings in your camera that work in concert. So it is not one single thing that you turn your camera into and then you start snapping away. It is what I'm talking about, a very informed, known way of setting automated settings and features and processes into your camera. You dial them into your computer that you are handling so that it lifts some of the easy processes so that you can focus on other things. So, for example, I want to give you a look at a few pictures to clarify what I'm talking about. This photograph probably would have never happened if it hadn't been for auto exposure. My camera was set up in aperture priority, how I shoot most of the time. That means that it achieves a good exposure without me having to dial any settings. And the only thing that I really am in control is the aperture. And so I shot this photograph on a cloudy, overcast day, and the sun kept on coming in and out of the shot. So the exposure was going all over the place. you can imagine what's going on. So, as the light streaks came through the clouds, I took the picture. I could do that because instantly I had the right exposure in the camera, because I left the camera to do the job, because it can do that much faster than me dialing a couple of buttons. In other situations, it is possible that it is more advantageous or preferable that you do this manually. But in this particular instance, and in a lot of situations like this, where the exposure changes a lot, and if you're going in and out of a shady area in a forest, for example, and then you walk into an opening where there's a lot of sun, or you go in and out of buildings, all these kinds of scenarios are really difficult to keep track of if you keep on having to manually dial in the right exposure. So automated exposure, auto exposure, will get you there much faster. White balance is set in auto most of the time on my camera, because if this photograph would have not happened otherwise. You can imagine the scene. Here, these light spots are yellow, but they were changing colors all the time. And with all those colors, this light spills onto the people around. And yeah, it's difficult to decide what is the right white balance. So if you leave it up to the camera, it does a pretty good job. There are moments when this is not the case, but 99% of the time, auto white balance nowadays, really hits the spot, and you can focus on what's going on in front of your lens, and you can capture those moments. And as I've mentioned, auto white balance, is constantly improved. All the features are constantly improved to help you to get better results faster. A big topic these days, and feature that camera manufacturers really, dive into and have been for a little while now, is object tracking. It's the first camera, my X-T5, that I have that has object tracking, other than face tracking, which is a feature that I've been, warming up to over time. And I was really intrigued and wanted to test what object tracking is all about. I would have not been able to take a photograph of this dog jumping in the pond. If you know GSPs, they are crazy dogs. They have a lot of energy. They jump around in the water a lot. They run really fast. And so did this dog as well. The camera did an absolutely phenomenal job in tracking this dog and freezing this dog in, jumping in the water. And I am very impressed with it. I am sure there are a lot of you out there who don't trust the process yet. There have been a lot of reports in the process while this camera was being launched, the X-T5, where people were, discussing it, debating it, and people were saying the first people who had it, it's not really working, etc. But this may be because you have not practiced using it, you have not put the camera in the right settings. There are a lot of and there are people who are maybe anxious in using it because they have not been exposed to it, they don't have the practice of using it. So I think with trying something, you will get to a point where you will, become more familiar. We don't think about autofocus anymore in the normal sense that we are convinced that the camera can acquire focus faster than we can dial in manually. That's, has been standard practice for such a long time. And features have been improved since 1977. So there's been a lot of experience in manufacturers going in. When it comes to more modern practices, this may be, taken on not quite as quickly by users. But I would like to, encourage you here today to try it, to see for yourself that it is actually really awesome, and that the camera that you have is capable of so much more than like I've mentioned. It's a mini computer that you have, and you bought this camera, you probably spent quite a bit of money on it, and all these features are built in. Automated features are built into your camera for you to use and to practice with it. And, so you should try it and use it. It is features to help you make shooting easier, to, get your images faster or get the images that you want, so that you don't need to worry about getting the right exposure. Like I said, it is extremely practical, because you don't need to worry about taking so many settings and dial them in every single time you move your camera to a different exposure or on a different subject. You can, merely just enjoy your photography for what it is. So it really helps you. And the important thing is that you know what your camera does when you set it up the way you want to shoot. You don't put your camera into an auto mode not knowing how to set up your camera. Otherwise, you are very aware of what it does, and it frees you to do exactly that. And with having all those worries out of your head, you can be so much more free to create the images that you want. You can experiment, and you can really observe a scene and get immersed into it. So you don't need to worry about any of the technical stuff anymore. And that's really what it is all about. This is what, I'm here to tell you, what I would like to challenge you to try and do. So, give it a go, give it a try, and see what your camera is capable of, and learn it, and make friends with those automated systems and AI features, because it is the future. There will only be more of it. So the sooner you embrace it and run with it, the more enjoyment you will get out of future developments. If you have any questions, if there are any questions in the audience, you are more than welcome to ask them now. You are, as always, invited to ask me anything in the comments or give me suggestions. If you would like me to dive deeper into this topic, if you want me to talk about specific settings in a specific camera rather, or you want me to show you how my camera is set up, anything around this topic or any other topics that you want me to talk about, you are more than welcome to let me know. I'd be super happy to, hear from you. At the end of the day, I really am here to, challenge you a little bit and hope to, inspire you to maybe think about things a little bit differently. So if this sparks some kind of interest, please do drop me a note and let me know, and I will see if I can, incorporate them in one of my next shows. Speaking of which, I will be speaking about why I love my new XT5 in the upcoming show on Tuesday. I've been shooting with it for a while now, and I thought it's a good time to share with you why I'm so very happy with it. If you like what you've seen, and if you like the content, please do subscribe and give me the thumbs up and hit the notification bell. It goes a long way to help. And if you think you know other people who may benefit from my chats, then do share this channel with them and invite them to come along. The more the merrier. I will be seeing you again on Tuesday. This time it will be at 9 o'clock. I do apologize for jumping with those times. I wish I could keep them the same. But as I said, I need to, see how I can guarantee a fixed time throughout our load shedding schedules, and they change from week to week, unfortunately, and they are not available long in advance. And so I, make sure that I pick a time where no matter what happens, I will be able to chat to you live. So next week, it will be 9 o'clock. So I hope you will be able to join me then. And I am looking forward to chatting to you about my new camera, and I can't wait to see you. I wish you a wonderful and peaceful weekend. Have some rest, take photographs, and I will see you again next week.